Thank you for staying with Daybreak. Now let's start that discussion on the state of the nation, where we discuss matters, politics, and everything in between there. My guests are with me, Honorable Eddie Okech, Senator for Migori, Honorable Nelson Koech, Member of Parliament for Belgut, and Eric Okeyo, Governance and Security Expert, is also here. We're still waiting for Honorable Joe Newto, the Senator for Moranga. As soon as he comes in, we'll drop him into this discussion. But let's start off with the front page of the Daily Nation. United in impunity, they say. Cover up 4 days after the attack of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua at a church service in Nyeri, the latest in a string of similar incidents. There has been no reported questioning of suspects or even arrests. Security chiefs have also ignored queries about the status of investigations into the bloody violence. Okay, you have a background in security. Is there a possibility that such an attack can happen to the former Deputy President without the security apparatus being aware of it, or even making an arrest 4 days later? Or is this a deliberate attack?
Trevor, the trend has been fairly predictable. And immediately when this incident occurred, my friend Mushiri Nyaga, the spokesman for the National Police, issued a statement after public outcry and reaction by leaders, and said that the IG had directed inquiry to be undertaken by the Internal Affairs Unit of the police. Those of us familiar with that infrastructure will tell you that the Internal Affairs Unit of the police only investigates colleagues. It does not investigate civilians. It investigates strictly police officers on duty. That statement is telling. It almost admits that the attack was either aided, abetted, or facilitated by the security apparatus. I like the comment by another friend of mine called Murkomen, who is saying this is the last of this that Kenyans will hear about. When he was in Kirinyaga, I think Kirinyaga or Embu yesterday, because if government is serious about stopping this, they'll stop it. This is theirs. Elsewhere in the dailies, an officer speaking on condition of anonymity has already admitted and confessed that he was part of the officers who were put together to go and do this. And it is almost also clear that the local security officers on the ground were unaware. No Kenyan will buy the idea that this attack was not aided or abetted by the state.
Okay. Koech, is there a cover-up? You're the chair of the Defense Committee. It's related. It's not exactly under your purview, but is there a cover-up on this attack?
On this particular case or on several other cases? Let me just say, Trevor, first that an attack on any individual, whether in charge or whatever place, undermines our democratic gains. But looking at what has been happening lately and in regards to former president, I want us to look at it globally, look at it holistically. First of all, some of cases where the former deputy president personally has pointed fingers on government and the administration. Most of them have been discounted by people who we believed or perceived had been mishandled. When Honorable Koimburi came out to dismiss and actually say this is a story that we acted, this is a story that we scripted, to give sympathy to the Honorable Gachagua and his team, then you now look at some of the stories that he raises as attacks, as probably a script. This one for last Sunday, personally, I condemn it. You know, the president has condemned it. The minister, Honorable Kipchumba, has condemned it.
The CS has talked about it.
the CS is speaking, of course, on the blessings of the president. I mean, he issued a statement and said, because we don't direct the police. Police is an independent institution. All he can say is that we have to act and make sure that all those who broke the law then are brought to book.
So he's speaking.
Nonetheless, it is Gashagua's cases, Honorable Gashagua's cases, are extremely isolated. Most of the cases are self-inflicted. Trevor, and I'll ask, look at some of your clips that you aired. There's a clip that shows, not in this particular function, but a few days, some days behind, where a convoy, one of the Honorable Gashagua's convoy, in one of the cars, someone jumps out, hit their own vehicle, and goes back to the convoy. These guys sometimes just want to seek sympathy. And on those cases, even though they are isolated, it paints Gachagua as an insincere person, someone who just wants to seek sympathy for purposes of election. Where cases like that happened on Sunday have occurred, personally, I say then the police must take action. And it is unacceptable, not just in Odaya, it is unacceptable across the country. Yeah. People must be held accountable. There should be no violence amongst the competing
Emmanuel
teams.
Toh did a story on this, and he's been attacked a minimum of almost 11 times. If he's stage managing all these attacks, why shouldn't he be arrested? Or the people who are taking
How many times Honorable Gachagua himself has been invited to make a statement in the DCI? He refused.
But
he wrote a statement to say that he cannot go and record statement. So we have to look at it holistically. And you see, I want you to also, where you see the former deputy president, where you see Malala, those are serious script writers. Those are guys who will show you drama until you believe. Can you imagine Gashagua's statement when he came out of Karen Hospital and said, I know William Ruto has sent police officers to poison Honorable Koimburi. They've used a substance that was inhaled, and it has affected his vocal cords, if you will listen to his statement. Today, Honorable Koimburi has come out to say, no, it was all a script. Just imagine what would have happened if action had been taken at that point.
Why don't you arrest
So you have my own friend, Honorable Mushomba, who has also strongly come out to say most of the things that happened on that camp are scripted. Those are stories. Those are people trying to seek sympathy. On the case of churches, I've said, and I will continue saying, that was unacceptable. But also, Honorable Gachagua should be treated with the contempt that he deserves.
Scripted or not, why don't you arrest the perpetrators?
That is what I'm saying. And I don't want to preempt, the security apparatus on what probably they will be doing. But I also want, and I'm expecting justice. Let me tell you, I'm a victim of police excesses myself. In last government, the dying days of the last government and administration. And with this government, when it came in, it vowed that we will not continue with where the other government had done. We weaponized our police and security apparatus. We should not do that. So I'm expecting that justice will be done, and we must find the perpetrators of Sunday's incident. It is unfortunate. It is unacceptable. I am a believer. Where a church is attacked, where people in church are attacked, where our sovereignty as a people is attacked, then we all must come out.
I wanted to comment about that picture you see there. Do those people seem like people who have been scripted and told to come and act, or do they seem like government operators in full gear?
You must also remember that many times police find themselves in a very difficult situation. You find that there are camps that are fighting each other. The police have to come out to defend. And I want to believe that in this case, these guys are outside. It looks like, and if you can even see in the full clip of the video, that there were stones exchanges, there were fire exchanges. So you don't know which team is whose. It is very difficult. Honorable Gachagua himself has come out to say he is now taking back all those who retired officers as his security from that region, from Mount Kenya, which he has vowed to speak on behalf of. And he's saying all the security officers who either worked in the military, who worked in the police, have now come as his own personal security. To what they have is probably what the police should tell us, whether they were armed and who these individuals are and what action have been taken. But in my view, if you look at this was outside, and you can see that there were exchanges of stones and other things. So it's difficult, and those faces are identifiable. So I'm sure the police have identified who these people are. But I want to tell you, Trevor, also, always treat the drama by Gachagua with a pinch of salt.
Eddie, is there some cover-up in this attack on Gachagua? It has happened a total of almost 11 times. That was scripted by Emmanuel Toh.
You know, first of all, Trevor, I always like saying good morning because it's a gift of life that we all get in this morning, and even the viewers who are logging to watch us this morning, we don't take life for granted. And I want to thank God that we are all alive, and I'm happy to see my colleagues here as well as yourself and the people at Citizen. Thank you for continuing to inform the nation and for this opportunity to actually talk to our country. Secondly, Trevor, this is the most heartbreaking thing for me as a young person in this country. When these attacks happen, whether they are scripted or whether they are otherwise organized from government side, to see children becoming victims of whichever political melee is going on in our country, to see people who are divine in a church facing this kind of political, impact on themselves, or whichever camp is responsible, is the lowest we can have in our country. And it doesn't matter whether it happens in a church or in a school or in a market. This madness must stop. And people must be held accountable. Because from the pictures that you are seeing there are individuals you can be able to spot who must then be able to tell the truth and their story. And the accountability starts with the security infrastructure taking serious action on the people who are there. If you're a policeman and you are there and you went to quell, let's say, goons fighting or any attack that was happening as such, the police must be able to hold you accountable, and then you must put that in white and black at the DCI. If you are police who was there, who was otherwise sent by any other faction, because what we're trying to say here, my brother Nelson, is this: that actually our police, we have got no control over our police infrastructure. We are saying that our police can be hired by Trevor today and go and do something that is unlawful. That's what the interpretation of this is. We are saying that the individuals we are seeing here who have got guns, either they are not policemen and therefore they are some militia group who are very armed. So I am concerned as a citizen and as a leader in this country that most probably, if these are not policemen, then they are militia with guns. How did Kenya have this kind of people with this artillery being able to operate in our country if they're not policemen? This is something that we cannot tolerate. And it doesn't matter where it happens. Whether it happens in Central, it happens in Nyanza, it happens in Moyale, it happens in any part of this country. This must end. Okay. And we as leaders in Parliament must actually be able to probe this and call these people to action. Okay. Because if this continues, we will lose our country. All right. Number two, Stephen, that I wanted to say very, very categorically, from what I see, because there are goons who are throwing stones where those people are, there is something that I want to request the political class, and some of the top political class are here. My brother here visited him a number of times in Kericho, in Belgut. He's a very serious voice in the entire Kericho, my brother Nelson. My brother Newt, who has just arrived, is also a very serious political class, and their voices matter. There's something we must stop, Trevor. It seems that in this country it is becoming normal that one of the recipes for you to be able to buy in this country, you must have your goons. It is becoming normal that among other things that you need resources, vehicles, branding and everything, you must first of all build your militia and a goon. Even if you're vying for MCA or vying for Senate or vying for any political class, you must build your goons as a recipe for our politics. We are losing the idea and ideology of governance, and we are losing the idea of service, political service to our people. This goon element that has now permeated our political class is something that also we must be able to condemn as a society. Attack on church must be condemned as a society, and any form of kind of violence that we are seeing here. You see, what happens here, Trevor, happens one and a half years probably and a few months to election. It means that if you allow this to continue, a use of goons and police in our politics, then it means that it can only be scaled. And it means that if you're going to run an election, whoever has got more resources or more power might actually scale this to another level. And therefore, we will have a situation whereby nobody will have monopoly of violence. Okay. And the only person who must have monopoly of force in this country must be the police, and they must be used appropriately. Lastly, because of the nature of our polarized politics currently, Trevor, I want to ask the security infrastructure in this country. that don't take political matters lightly, especially where violence has come to place. Because if you leave these things without inquiring these things and holding individuals accountable, whether it is a top person who is involved and you don't inquire them and then you just sweep them that, that was another event of violence. Yeah. What is happening is that we will polarize this country, and then before we realize, now populations that are supporting particular political individuals will start taking arms. And you know, arms includes stones, includes any bad, any crude weapons. This is something that we don't want to see going to the election and must be condemned in the strongest term possible, and every single person who is involved must be held to account. Right.
Let me bring in Honorable Joe Newt, who is now joining us now as the Senator from Murang'a. Joe, we were talking about the attack on the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and there is the allegations that some of it is stage managed. You were there at that time. What did you see, and is there a cover-up from the security forces?
Thank you, Trevor, and allow me to say that although I came in late, but I was following online what the contributions that my co-panelists were making, and so I'm privy to what each one of them has said. But I want to say this, Trevor, and because my brother from the Brown mother, Honorable Koech, is here, who also happens to be the chair of national security, is here. Should, you know, first, I want to believe, I don't have a security background, like my friend Okeo, but I want to believe that security sometimes is, you know, is accorded according to, I mean, on need basis or on risk basis. And that is why not every Kenyan walks with a bodyguard, because of course, not all Kenyans are at risk. And I want to believe that following the incidences that have been reported about attacks on the second Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, because this is not the first incident. I mean, then if this government is serious about providing security to Kenyans who are at risk, then everywhere the Deputy President then goes, even if you're not coming because you may not like him, of course, and you don't have to like him anyway, and he doesn't ask anybody who doesn't like him to like him, but if you have assessed and you have realized that he and his own entourage and those that he visits are at risk, then security should be provided. I mean, and done because, I mean, even if you want to put the life of Rigathi Gachagua at risk, what about the women and children that we find who are where he is? I mean, about innocent worshippers. And I think that is something I want Nelson to maybe respond to. I mean, if you know that Rigathi Gachagua is being attacked every time he visits a church, because there are many incidences, if you are a serious government, why don't you take care of the women and children who will be caught up in this particular, you know, attack, and provide security, if not for Rigathi Gachagua, for those innocent Kenyans who have a right to worship and have a right to have security? Why is it that this has not been done? And when I hear Nelson and other people saying that this is stage managed, I also want to ask again, why are you allowing anybody to stage manage something that causes mayhem and that causes, stress and emotional distress on children, women, and elderly people? I mean, why haven't you arrested those police officers? And I heard Nelson say that Rigathi Gachagua is using retired or, fired police officers in his security. If they are the ones that Rigathi Gachagua is using to follow his script, to look for sympathy, why haven't they been arrested? Why are you allowing women and children again and again to be attacked by, in quotes, the people that the Rigathi Gachagua is using to gain sympathy? Why haven't arrests been made since Sunday? And this is not the first. You know, when I hear that the IG has said that we should, investigations are underway, he has ordered for investigations. What are the results of the investigations about the attack that happened in Mweki several months ago? Who has been arrested from the attacks What have the investigations revealed since the Kariobangi attack? I mean, there are so many incidences. Yeah. And so this government is compromised. Allow me also to confirm, to say something about this Koimburi issue, because I have heard Nelson talk about it. Yes, it is true. I went to see Koimburi with Rigathi Gachagua and other legislators allied to Rigathi Gachagua. And we were given a brief by the doctor who saw him. And what Rigathi Gachagua was saying when we went out there was exactly what, as per the briefing that the doctors had, the doctor who had given us. And nobody, in fact, I never bought the theory that Koimburi abducted himself until he said it himself. In fact, Trevor, I can say this, and I say this before God. I did not believe that Koimburi, did the self-abduction until he said it himself. We went to Karen Hospital. We were given a brief, and what the Rigathi Gachagua said is exactly what the doctor who briefed us told us. And so, it's important that even as we want to make somebody a bogeyman, but I understand my friend Nelson because of the outfit he belongs to. I know the nightmare that they have is with Rigathi Gachagua, and they must try to smear him with all manner of names. Yeah. And I'm telling them, the worst nightmares are yet to come. Okay. The worst of them is coming in August next year. It's not now at 2027, next year. So Nelson, please, and the outfit that you serve, please, no. It doesn't matter what you tell. You are telling Kenyans about the failures of this government, and that's why you don't want the Rigathi Gachagua to talk. Okay. And we will still tell Kenyans how this government has failed.
Okay, I have to take a commercial break, but you're the one who started this. Yes, very briefly.
Yeah, Trevor, thank you for indulging me for just a second to react. Trevor, security issues require absolutely zero emotion in addressing. We are dealing with an attack in a place perceived to be the most safe in charge. I want to plead that we separate this with drama. And let me, in that spirit, applaud my two brothers here, the Honorable Koech and the Honorable Senator Eddie Okech, for condemning the incident. It is almost clear, 100%, that this was state-organized. I want to say, very calmly, without emotion, that this is a tip of the iceberg. It's a very dangerous precursor. If there was seriousness in government, by now, the entire Regional Security Committee of Nyeri will be out. By now, the County Security Committee of Nyeri will be home. The Regional Security Committee in Central would be home by now for government to return confidence in the people. Trevor, I will tell you this as a practitioner in this space, that no amount of government security officers can take on citizens and succeed. None, never. It is not possible. If this is not treated and handled as seriously and as responsibly as I plead here, Kenyans will eventually say they must take care of themselves. And I tell you, the gun stops at some point. Either it has run out of ammo or the person holding it has been overpowered. The gun stops at some point. This is recklessly unacceptable, but it is by the government. In fact, let me even go further. If the president is serious to return order, because this is an attack at church, remember it is opening wounds going back to 2007, the church in Eldoret. It's opening very dangerous wounds. All of us on this panel are parents. You don't want to see this. I want to ask government, if they are serious, Internal Affairs Unit is already dealing with their colleagues. But the political actors who are there, the security team, all the people appearing in the Daily Nation of today, even Murkomen by now should have been removed. Some responsibility must stop somewhere. But this madness will tell Kenyans to protect themselves. Even those attackers, when you watch it, the ones who are throwing stones are with the policemen on the same side. It's not the other way around. And I don't want us to say there's drama. This is unacceptable.
Okay. I'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're talking about matters, politics and everything else in between there. We'll be back in just a short while. Send in your views at Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Citizen Daybreak. See you in a short while.